All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris with Pop Gaming. This is Popcast, episode 9. We have with us Schwamney, also known as Dan.
What's up?
And we have the biggest Guardians of the Galaxy fan ever, the Matt Man.
Hello, everyone.
So this week, let's just jump out there and start with Take-Two. They had a lot in the news, since they own Rockstar. The whole GTA trilogy thing was a complete debacle. And now they're planning on releasing 60 new games between April of 22 and March of 24. So in a 2-year span, they want to release 60, big budget games, which is interesting because they just canceled an unannounced game that nobody knows what it was that cost them $53 million. Like, how much cash do these guys actually have to burn through?
You have the GTA Online money. That's probably where most of their money comes from, to be honest. Plus the copies sold as well. But that's where they're burning the money.
Well, me and Dave were talking about that yesterday. How funny was that? So we were looking at Black Friday deals since Thanksgiving just passed, and Legend of Zelda is still $40, and that came out. And when did that come out? That was a while ago.
2017, and it's like being on sale for $40. It's $20 off for a game that came out in 2017.
and then
it goes
well,
back to the retail price is $60. And it's like they haven't lowered the base price of it.
So getting that PlayStation, I kind of went back into looking at like what games are out for that console and things like that, and
yeah,
I've just come to realize it's the same games as last year. They're discounted now. I'm like, but they're not even like a good discount because the game's a year old. They're like, oh, the game has been 60 for now over a year. We're making it 45 or 40.
Yeah.
And then
some of the games are 70 too.
Yeah, and then you got and then all the PS5 upgrades, like from the PS4 games. Like I was like, oh cool, I have Ghost of Tsushima. I'll just download that to my PlayStation and get the the better graphics. No. You need the director's cut to do that. That's an extra $30, sir.
They got to get their money. Well, the reason I brought this up because Grand Theft Auto is $15 for Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, who does not own this game at this point in time? But for $4 more, $19, you can get Resident Evil 8 Village, which is a game that just came out this year. So I just think the price points are crazy, how they jump around like that.
Yeah, okay, so two things. I remember the first one was, I want to buy GTA for, like, my, I want to play it on my PC, but they won't let me switch my account from Xbox. So I'm stuck playing a brand new account, which I guess is a ploy to get me to, like, rebuy all the shit I had for Xbox, and I refuse to do that.
Yeah, but you gotta get that shark card.
I also noticed was it Far Cry 6 that came out, a month and a half ago, 2 months now?
Yeah, what's that cost now?
$40. I got that for 40, which is, I mean, hey, it's not a
That's
huge
not bad.
discount, but like a $40 game, like it just came out, and we're still over here with Spider-Man, Miles Morales, which is basically an expansion DLC that's still full price. What are we doing?
I was gonna say that I actually looked because I still never bought or played Miles Morales, and I was gonna buy it. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get it on sale, and it's still like $50. But Riders Republic and Guardians of the Galaxy, which both just came out like 2 months ago, are $25 right now. Yeah. It's crazy.
Dude, I went to GameStop. So if one of them on the shelf said 60 and the other one said 26. So I said, well, I'm going to take the one that says 26 to the counter and ask for the 3 of them because I got 2 for my nephews. And, yeah, the guy was like looking at me like I'm crazy. And I was like, oh, please don't tell me you're going to ring these up and it's going to be $120 for 2 of them.
Instead of 78 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So he rang it up, and I got Far Cry 6 and 3 copies of that for like $100 and some dollars. I was like, this is great. That was nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm cool with that.
But I just think the disparity in the game prices is crazy because, like Dan said, Legend of Zelda came out in 2017, and they're still charging $40 for it. Like, what the hell?
Well, it's not as bad as the Black Ops 2 that came out in 2012, and they're still selling it for a base price of $60 on Steam, but that's
accurate. Speaking of that, though, Activision actually did on Black Friday reduce the cost of Vanguard
to $45. Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, so I mean, you could even get Vanguard for the price of Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, they're sticklers with their prices. It's
yeah, but
insane.
people still defend them. It's crazy. Like,
I don't know where's that defense coming from? Because like they don't release AAA titles. Like they release 2 or 3 a year. It feels like, and that's not a lot. And then they keep them at 60 all the time. Like a GameCube still goes for $150 on eBay.
And they keep their IPs locked down like crazy. Like if some fan-made project comes up, they'll lock it down like as soon as they can, issuing DMCA, like more than any other company.
I just think it's funny how everyone acts like Nintendo's this great consumer-friendly company.
They're not.
And they're just like anybody else.
Their
online is the worst. Their online infrastructure is the worst. And the fact that they're charging you for it is a joke.
We have talked about that in the past podcast, how bad that was. That was funny. All right, well, moving on.
Money and we'll give you nothing back.
Yeah. No, we'll give you some old Nintendo 64 games that you probably still own right now.
Yeah.
Well, moving on, Microsoft has acquired Two Hat. Now, for those that don't know, I didn't know, Two Hat is some type of company that tries to moderate and make online community spaces safer. So I guess they're going after the whole crowd, you know, that says your mother's a whore when you're playing Xbox. I'm guessing that's what they're trying to do because they're trying to integrate this into Xbox. And I just thought it was kind of odd that they bought Two Hat because they used them in the past. So they were already using the company. I don't know why they bought them outright. It just seems
probably cheaper to buy them than to keep paying them.
Yeah, it might be. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's a big money saving thing. It just seemed odd because I'm like, you're using them already and then you buy them out. I mean, I guess if they're using them enough, they figure they need to create safe online spaces in the future.
Are they gonna record our party chats and stuff like PlayStation does?
I'm not sure. They didn't detail specifics. They want to make the community safer. I don't think that extends to party chat though, because that's kind of like you and your friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like
they probably secretly do it anyways and don't tell us.
They might. I mean, look at the whole Kinect debacle. Back in the day with the Xbox 360 Kinect,
before
they were always recording. Yeah,
well,
they're
yeah,
like, "Oh,
like,
we don't
the
listen to
NSA is
that."
watching you with the Kinect.
Yeah, but that's what they did. They kept saying like, "Oh, we only listen for keywords to help improve the system." But then it came out years later that they listened to hours and hours of conversations. Like,
well, that was like the Alexa. They were doing that too. People were saying like,
yeah,
they're just straight up listening for fun at this point.
Yeah.
I still think she's a part of Skynet, so I don't care what she says.
Well, it's funny about Alexa though, because I took an IT security class and we had to analyze actual Alexa audio logs because it does capture and record that information, and you can pull that from the device. So it is.
Wait,
like,
so you could actually,
really?
you could download the stuff it records?
It's
I
only
swear
a
to
matter
God,
of
yes.
time.
It was part of my IT security class. I swear to God, you can actually, it actually records and saves those audio logs. If you're like,
it's only
Alexa,
a matter
do
of time before a politician gets caught in a scandal because he was saying
Because of Alexa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen.
Dude,
Could absolutely
that's
see
so
that
crazy though. It actually records and saves all that.
Yep.
You could go and get it.
Yeah, you can pull those audio logs. I did it in my class. It was crazy.
I'd like to try it just to see what all it hears. I'm
I
just
don't-
kind
I
of
don't know if-
curious.
I don't know if you want to hear what my
Dude,
Alexa has.
It's
to say.
creepy too. Like I'll be sleeping and then Alexa turns on in the middle of the night and starts saying something. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Well,
It just scares me.
Angela has it where it always does this like noise, it's like bum, 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 and I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell is that?
Oh,
And it'll do it at
it's
random
Amazon
times.
alerts, right?
Yeah, I guess it's
I didn't know
Amazon.
it,
Yeah.
and it turns orange. I didn't know for the longest time what it was. I was like, why is my Alexa orange and making noises at me? And then I was like, Alexa, why are you orange? And she was like, oh, that's an Amazon notification. Your package is here. I was like, oh, okay.
You know what
Fucking
else I
weirdo.
hate? Now she starts to give you suggestions. So I'll be like, set a timer for like 5 minutes, and she'll be like, okay. And if you want, if you say this or that, I can add a minute or add 30 seconds. I'm like,
I
I don't
had to
care.
do
I said
yesterday.
5 minutes.
I said, I told her to set a 10-minute timer, and she was like, well, if you want, I can play music for the next 10 minutes while you wait. No, I didn't
get that
ask you
yet.
that. I didn't ask you that. I just want you to set
Maybe
the
you
timer,
could be
let
like
me know when
Alexa,
it's out.
turn off suggestions or something like that. That way you don't have to hear it.
I agree, and I still think she's a part of Skynet. If you ask her, she says no, she has nothing to do with it. But I'm not buying it.
Well, let's see.
Anyway, so,
Alexa, are
you
you a
gonna
part
ask
of Skynet?
Have nothing to do with Skynet.
see?
Don't worry.
That's what.
That's
someone
don't
who
worry.
is part of
Yeah.
it
That was
said.
sus. That was
That's
sus.
exactly what Terminator would say. I'm not buying it for a minute.
I don't trust that. I don't trust how she said that. She said it like so matter of fact. Nah, I don't trust
Yeah,
that.
she's like, I have nothing to do. You can trust me. I'm safe. I swear. It's exactly what somebody like that would say.
She's definitely crossing her virtual fingers.
Anyway, moving on. So Microsoft, we were talking about, they're also announcing collaboration with Sega, who's kind of been down in the gaming space. I mean, I love Sega. From back in the day, I love Sonic. I played a lot of the games. I had a Sega Genesis. But once the Dreamcast kind of died, they kind of went out. They still make games, but now they're announcing a partnership with Microsoft, not to make exclusives, but just to develop games using their Azure cloud platform, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know if we'll get exclusives out of it for PC and Xbox, but I still think it's great that Sega's still making games. They still have some good franchises, I think. I mean, Sonic, it's kind of hit or miss. They've had some shitty games in the last couple years.
They can make a great Sonic game. I just feel like there's never an effort to.
Yeah, I feel like they got like their
Sonic
C or D
Mania
team
and
on it.
Sonic Generations, which I think were the last 2 games, actually were pretty good. I played both
Like,
of them.
don't do the open world thing. Go back to like the Dreamcast like level-based Sonic. That one was
I
fun.
agree. The Sonic 3D games, for the most part, aren't that great. So I agree with like the classics.
Well, there was a new one that either just came out or it's about to come out any day or any month now. And they were actually saying that one looked really good and felt really good, and it kind of got back to the roots a little bit. It's not open world anymore. I think it has distinct levels. I'll have to try and look it up and see. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it either just came out or it's coming out very soon. And then also, like Facebook, Microsoft wants to make a metaverse. And I'm guessing that's why they bought Two Hat that we were talking about earlier, because they want to enable sharing virtual worlds to access multiple VR and AR headsets. I guess
Whatever happened to the Microsoft Glass, like their augmented reality?
I think it just
They-
died out, just like the Google Glass thing.
Yeah, they didn't like pursue it further. I wish they kind of did, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember when they were like when they announced it and they were showing like how you can like go into a Minecraft world and like pull apart the blocks and stuff.
yeah.
That looked great.
I guess
Yeah,
that's
I
what they're still working toward, but they want to use it across the VR headsets and AR, which I'm not a huge fan
I'm
of
actually
AR.
surprised Microsoft didn't pursue VR further because Sony's into it, and I know they visited Valve when Valve was like, pushing out their new Half-Life game. Like Phil Spencer actually visited Valve and played the game. I was like, oh, cool, he might actually put VR on their console, but he never did. So I'm not sure what they're doing with that.
I don't think Xbox has ever fallen for gimmicks too. Like VR is getting there, but when it first came
It's
out,
still
it's very
niche.
gimmicky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
That's the thing. It's still a small market that actually owns or buys it.
and like just like handhelds too. Like the the PS Vita was supposed to be the big handheld that came out, and nothing can touch the DS. So I think Xbox always stayed away from handhelds just because of the fact that the DS owns the market.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of hoping Xbox would pursue it because, like we said, it's niche. It's not mainstream. And if another console manufacturer did, then maybe it'd become more mainstream. But I guess they're not interested in investing in it, which I don't blame them to that extent.
See, I think Microsoft is secretly working on that in the background because I think they know at some point the whole metaverse and working space and gaming space is going to be big and they're going to need something to compete. I don't think they'll have the best, right when it first comes out, but I think they're going to have something because look at how many different headsets you have. Either that or they'll try and buy somebody out or make some type of alliance with them because I think VR is going to be the future eventually. It's just
some of
coming
the first
slow.
party games could definitely work in VR. Like Halo, obviously it's a shooter. Like Forza, you sit down and you drive your car. Like it could definitely work with their first party titles. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you guys both have VR. What do you think? Is it something that you really enjoy that you think can really take off?
Go
Go ahead,
Dan,
Matt.
you first. No, you first.
Okay. So like I've played a lot of VR, put like hundreds of hours in it. The early VR games, they're basically like test games or whatever. They're not like full experiences, but the later games like Boneworks, Half-Life Alyx, they're amazing. But like my thing is though, it's hard to play VR in long sessions. Like I can only do it for like an hour or two and then like my head hurts a little bit or I feel like sitting down. So it's hard for me to like do it in longer sessions. So I think like in order for it to take off, it has to be one, cheaper, and two, like more comfortable. Like right now, like if you want to get into an PC, you need a very high-end PC plus a VR headset, which ranges anywhere from like 300 to $1,000. And even on PlayStation, you need a PS4, PS5 plus a $300 plus headset. So it's like it's expensive. And then, like I said, from my experience, it's hard to play it for like 4+ hours at a time. I can only do like an hour or two, and I'm like, all right, I need a break. That's my experience.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that they made it a little bit easier with that with the Oculus Quest 2, and then the PC Link. They made it a little easier. It's still not nearly as nice as say if like I were to get a Vive or a Rift.
Yeah.
But I've had fun with it. Like I play mini golf and stuff, and like there's a couple party games that we played, like Keep Talking, No One Explodes, and all that. Those are really enjoyable. But like Dan's right. I get like an hour into like Boneworks, and I'm like I gotta stop. My head's starting to hurt, and then you come out of the headset and you feel a little loopy for a minute, and I'm like, it's still a ways off.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason I never like jumped in on it, because I considered it, especially on PlayStation. Like it's easy. You have a PlayStation, you can just plug it in, run the wire. But I was just worried, like I'd get motion sickness and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to throw all that money in if I end up getting motion sickness or something from it.
Everyone gets motion sickness. I got it when I first did it. Like you only get around motion sickness once you have enough experience with it. But even then, you might still get motion sickness, like a little bit of it. But everyone gets it because your body's not used to it.
Yeah, it was really awkward. Like everything felt weird, and now I can go into it for like an hour and come out and be fine. I won't even feel off at all. But yeah, the motion sickness is.
That must be why they're also looking at. They mentioned AR also, which is augmented reality, which I used on my phone. I wasn't a big fan. If they had the glasses type thing like Google and Microsoft talked about before, I think it would have been better. Like you just throw some glasses on and it basically has like a overlay over top of your real world.
Certain
like,
apps
I think that would help.
like that Pokemon Go. Like I guess you capture Pokemon
that was a good one. Yeah,
in AR. So.
Yeah, and so like with like I think it was hard with the phone because you can move your hands around. But like if you had glasses on and it's just wherever you look, I think it would help. And I think with AR instead of VR, it would get rid of a lot of that motion sickness. So maybe that's why they're looking into both.
And speaking of VR too, it's not like full-blown, full-body VR. Like to move your body, you still use the joystick. Like you don't actually move your legs or walk in
unless
place
you get
to
one
move.
of those Omni treadmills.
Yeah, that 6-way treadmill thing that they sell.
Yeah, like it's kind of awkward in Boneworks. You're trying to climb up a ladder and you can only use your arms. You can't use your legs to climb up the ladder. Like it's not full body yet.
Yeah, it almost feels like your character's paralyzed and you're dragging your legs around.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know. And
sounds kind of
there
strange.
are some like attachments for VR. Like you can wear a vest where if you get shot, you actually feel it. But like again, that's more money that you're adding on to the already high cost.
I don't know how much I like that though. I mean, we already seen in competitive gaming that players don't like rumbles. They don't
fun
like
games until like
the haptic triggers.
More real.
Yeah.
Until your VR sex bot kills you. So I guess we'll see what happens.
That shit can get really wild.
Now, moving on, we're going to talk about Guardians for a minute. Since Matt bought 3 copies, it's obviously a good game.
Yeah, I played all 3, beat all 3.
You played all 3, yeah. Try to support it.
But now, the only reason I want to talk about this is because the same company came out and released Avengers. Was that last year or the year before?
2020.
And that game, to me, was not good. I played the demo. I played the final version. I just thought it wasn't that great. Now, this game, they changed the script. They only let you play as one character. You play as Star-Lord, and you play through a series of, I guess, linear levels. I don't think it's really open world or anything, but it's been getting great reviews, and I think it's more along the lines of like a light RPG, maybe like Outer Worlds, but less RPG elements. I mean, I don't know. I think it could be good. I haven't tried it yet, but I'll tell you, after playing Avengers, I was like, I'm a little wary.
The movement feels exactly like the Avengers, but it's not in a bad way. Like it feels more tuned than the Avengers did when that came out. I've only played like literally the first level, but it is very fun. There were some puzzles you do, and like the combat wasn't like annoying in every 5 seconds. There's a lot of cool like dialogue moments. Like the first thing you go through, Rocket's like, I bet I can shoot more of these things than you. And for the rest of the level, you have like a little scoreboard above you, and you have the whole level you're just looking for like these little worm things. And the more you shoot, obviously, the higher your score gets. And when it's a trophy to beat Rocket by the end. But he starts cheating halfway through, and he's like, "Oh, you're using 2 guns. I'm only using 1, so my score should double." So like you get, it kind of keeps it competitive and stuff.
That's cool. See, my only thing about it is, I guess because you watch the movies, you kind of get attached to those personalities and those voices. And now they kind of change it. And they did it with Avengers also. And it's like they changed the look, they changed the voice a little bit,
like
but they try to keep that
blonde.
spirit.
Like, what is that? Rocket has a little goatee now.
A
Groot-
goatee on a home raccoon.
Yeah, wait. Well, it's like this little like you know how like the braided goatees. He has like a little braided goatee, and then Groot has like tree hair.
Not tree hair.
Yeah, and he wears armor now. It's weird.
He wears
Well-
armor. That is kind of weird. Yeah.
But I guess
Yeah.
they were going more off the comics. So, and I heard Drax has a bigger part. So I guess I don't know if you've seen it yet in the beginning, but I guess Drax has a lot more lines, and you kind of talk to him a little more than
Yeah,
what they
he's,
do in the movies.
His oh, excuse me. His character and Rocket's character are probably the two closest, and obviously Groot because he has 3 lines. But
Yeah.
Rocket and Drax are probably the closest in Drax's personality is pretty similar to the movie. Like he's very dry, doesn't understand sarcasm and things like that. And then Rocket it's Rocket. It's just put a little New York accent on a raccoon and there you go. But Gamora is a white girl now, which I mean I don't care.
I thought she was like
but-
green. She's
Well, no,
not green.
Yeah. Well, she's white under that green skin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see what you
The
mean.
actual actress
The voice
is black,
actor.
though, in the movie.
That's what
though.
I mean. Like they
Yeah.
went from Zoe, like they made.
I guess it doesn't
Gamora
matter
black in
because
the
she's a
movies.
green alien, so it's
Yeah,
whatever.
I guess what I'm saying though is like
It's
you can
obvious.
tell the
You can tell.
characteristic difference. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, that kind of sucks because you made it one way in the movies and then like you drastically change it for the game. Like at least keep
Yeah.
it similar enough because like that's why we like Guardians is because of the movies. Like that's the movie team isn't even the original Guardians team in the comics. So like you already
Yeah.
set it up for these 5 characters to be our favorites. So like try to keep it similar to the movie. Don't switch up this much.
Yeah, I agree.
A question for you, Matt. Do you think you would have enjoyed the game a lot more if it was the same voice actors from the movie
Yeah.
that played the characters?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would
Yeah.
have changed it a bit. I don't think it's any less enjoyable now, but it definitely would have added more.
Yeah,
If
they
it
just
was
probably
the
couldn't either afford it, or
original
was
5.
a licensing problem. I
Oh,
would
I
assume.
guarantee you, I can't afford it.
Yeah, it's probably the
Chris
money.
Pratt's getting every voice acting gig there is. So
I mean, he's
Yeah.
now Mario and Garfield, so.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I mean.
Garfield, I heard about that.
Batista's
See, I just
filming everything under the sun.
I
Yeah.
feel like it would hurt me. It would help me more if they had the same people. I know they can't, but like Avengers, I noticed it the entire time. Like Bruce Banner did not sound
Even
like
their
what's his
faces look
name?
nothing
Like
like them too.
Yeah,
but I'm
like they
assuming they'd
changed
have to
their
pay 'em for
parents.
their
You could have at
similarity.
least, you could have. I'm sure they have contracts with them for likenesses for action
Yeah.
figure sake. So why couldn't you just
Yeah.
turn that into a video game thing too? But I guess maybe the video games is separate from the movies. Like I don't know if does Disney own. I know Disney owns the IP, but does Disney own the video game rights? Was that separated too back when they were selling everything off at Marvel?
Honestly,
yeah, I
don't
think
know.
Disney owns it all now, except what Sony has.
Yeah,
Which is
'cause they
Spider-Man.
got all the Fox stuff. So
Yeah,
surprised we're not getting more
So-
mutant stuff. Like Disney announced all their new TV shows and stuff, and there's nothing
Well,
with the mutants.
they have Midnight Suns, if you've seen that, and that doesn't have all the mutants, but it has some of them, and it has like Ghost Rider. It's a weird mix of characters. I guess it goes off a comic line, but apparently it's going to be a card battling game. I'm not really into
I did
those,
see that.
so-
I did see that video game, but I'm saying like in terms of their movies and TV shows and stuff, why are we not getting
Oh, yeah.
X-Men? Like I feel like X-Men would be the perfect like transition off of like Thanos and all that.
I'm sure it's
Yeah.
going to be coming. It's just a matter of when they want to slot
Yeah.
it in, because they keep telling us Deadpool's on the way, and they had that teaser poster before, even though we
Oh,
haven't really
Deadpool
heard
3
anything
movie?
about it.
Is that what you're
Hasn't
talking
even,
Yeah.
that hasn't even started filming though, so that's gonna be
Yeah,
huge
but they
before
keep
it's out.
saying, it's coming. We're not going to change it. It's still going to be R-rated, which I hope it is, because I
Yeah.
think if you cut that down to a PG, it's going to be
Well,
rough.
They did the PG-13 Christmas special of Deadpool 2, and he censored himself, and it was very funny. Like
Was
they
it still good?
made
Wow.
it, yeah, they made it enjoyable because like he was like, for whatever reason, I think he had like Ben Savage in a bed, and he's like, we can't swear in this one, and then he starts beeping himself. He goes, "See, I'm censoring myself." Like,
That's
Well,
funny.
speaking of Ryan Reynolds, he also came out in that movie Red Notice with The Rock on Netflix, which looked pretty good. I didn't get to watch it
I
yet.
watched it. I liked it a lot.
Is it worth watching? It looks funny.
Ryan Reynolds makes that a good movie because otherwise it's The Rock being The Rock again, where he has to be
Yeah.
the biggest, baddest dude in every movie, and you
He,
can't
play,
make
he
him look
always plays
stupid.
himself. He doesn't play as his character. He plays as himself.
Yeah,
That's-
and
yeah.
it's his studio that made it, so of course he ain't gonna look stupid.
Yeah.
He got to be the biggest and baddest, best looking guy there.
Skip Beeble and the Brick. All right, moving on. I don't know if you guys played it yet, but Far Cry 6 came out. I liked it. I thought it was good. The DLC came out on the 16th, and this is the first of the 3 villain DLCs where you play as Vaz from Far Cry 3,
So
which
you'll be
I
able to play as
liked.
the Far Cry 4 bad guy too.
Yeah, eventually it's going to get to Pagan Min and then Joseph Seed, which were the 4 and
See,
5 bad guys.
I never played 3, so I never got the whole Voss thing.
Oh,
but I know
man.
people really, see, like people have this like reaction to him. But I liked Pagan Min.
Yeah.
I thought they were all good. I feel like out of the 3, to me, Pagan Min was weaker.
Yeah, fair.
I like
Seed
the
was cool.
advertising for Far Cry 3, especially with the whole insanity thing, where Voss is going
Yeah.
through like, do you know the definition of insanity? And he just like, you could just tell like it's his type of character. I think he really played it well and everything. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't play it, but
Now-
was it good, Chris?
I haven't tried the DLC yet. I watched a little bit of video. It seems interesting. It's not your straight up like gameplay of Far Cry. You actually play in his psyche. So if you played the older games, whenever you had like those mental breaks or whenever you took the drugs in Far Cry 5 and you went on these like fantasy journeys, that's what it looks like, more of that, which is kind of interesting to me because it's a little bit different gameplay wise.
Are they set in Far Cry 3, or like is it set in that era, or is it?
No. So this one, it's kind of set in that era. So if you played Far Cry 3, you end up killing Vaz eventually.
Yeah.
And so when you in this game, when you come back as Vaz, you're like in his mind. So I guess he's trying to like come back to life or something. But you see flashbacks of the who you were trying to kill him and everything. And he like kind of taunts you and stuff. So the good guy kind of becomes the bad guy. And like Vaz is almost made it out to be like this anti-hero that's like trying to, I guess, help himself. So it's kind of interesting and different.
Real quick, did you guys know in Far Cry 4 at the beginning when Pagan whatever his name was, you're at the dinner table and he's like, yeah, I'll be right back, and you're supposed to leave, but if you stay there, he's like, oh wow, you're still here, and then the game ends.
Yeah, I did that. It's a trophy too, I think.
Yeah, they have that for all of them.
Hey, Chris,
Oh wait, did the 3rd one have it? I know the 5th one had it. The 4th one had that. What?
What episode are we on? Like
This is
podcast?
9. The
Oh,
9th
episode
one.
9.
Yeah. Podcast episode 9. Fuck Walter. Suck my balls.
There you go, Walter.
There's Walter's shout out.
But yeah, so Far Cry 5. When you go to arrest Joseph Seed in Far Cry 5 and they tell you like, oh man, we shouldn't do this, this is bad. If you just don't do anything, after like a minute, he'll turn around and leave and it's like the secret ending. And then we actually have a video up for Far Cry 6, but you get to a point where they're like, here, you want to go to Miami? Here's your boat. You can leave and go to Miami. And if you get on the boat and just start driving, you win. It's another shortcut ending like early in the game. And I like those. I mean, it's something stupid. Like obviously you're gonna play the game, but like it's something like cool, like a little Easter egg type thing.
Yeah, and it goes to like those people that always go, well, if you just got on the boat and left, the game would end right there, huh? Like it's always like this one sarcastic person that's like, this whole thing could have been avoided. But it's like, yeah, okay, well here you go, you avoid it.
Yeah.
Well, but see, it was interesting because in Far Cry 6, well, I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't played it yet, but we have a video up and you can watch it on there and see it. All right, let's see. On to the next one. So YouTube is getting rid of their dislikes. Now, I've seen a lot of people complain about this, including YouTubers. I don't know why they want to hide it. They're saying because smaller people get harassed or something with dislikes.
Yeah, well, it's to save face whenever they put another YouTube Rewind out.
Yeah,
and
YouTube
they can't
Rewind, they
dislike-
got disliked like crazy.
That is true.
Yeah, they're done for
I
that.
think that's just like a little bit of
The
a
content
personal
creators
vendetta.
can still see the dislikes privately, but like we can't see it publicly though.
I know a lot of creators were coming out saying they're like, well, this is a big problem for like tutorial videos because if one's disliked, you know it's not a good tutorial. It's like, well, that's such a minuscule reason to want them.
Yeah,
Like, well,
see,
it hurts advertisers, trying to put stuff on the platform. Well, it's like, dude, you can still see your own dislikes.
Yeah,
Like,
you can
still
see your own
see them. So I
dislikes
don't know
to
why it's
see.
a problem.
see, I thought they got
it's
rid
an
of it where you
harassment
can't
thing.
push it, but now you're saying it's just so the public
You
can't
can
see
still
it.
dislike it and they'll see it privately, but yeah, the public can't see it.
Like the
though.
number isn't displayed anymore.
Well, here's my question though, because you could still see the comments. So if I put a comment that says I dislike this and 8 million people click on it, is it not the same thing? Like,
Well, you know, I'm sure there's like it's like Instagram. Like there's gonna be one person in the comments going to use me as the dislike button.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
because they're gonna find a way.
Comments. Yeah.
If we learned anything from Jurassic Park, it's life will find a way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's weird because you can kind of gauge. I mean, I guess you said the people can see it themselves. So for instance, when they released the GTA 5 re-release for PS5 and Series X, the dislikes were like 5-1. Like everyone disliked it.
Yeah.
And so everybody could kind of gauge like, yeah, nobody likes this. But I guess as long as they can see it, I guess they still know, how it's doing publicly.
I mean, I guess
don't know,
it's
it's kinda interesting.
See, I don't.
Like, it's so
To be
minuscule.
honest,
I never paid
they
attention.
they
to
already
begin with.
gave content creators the ability to hide likes and dislikes. They're just doing it to save face with the YouTube Rewind, to be honest. But that's just me.
Yeah,
and I think
YouTube
I
Rewind
think
is
a lot
pretty
of those
crappy.
drama channels like rely on that too. They're always
Yeah.
like, they're like this. This video happened. Excuse me. This video happened and this person got this many dislikes. It must be a bad video. He must have done something really wrong. It's like, well, okay, well, who cares? Because that's gonna go away. Everything, you know what I mean? It's so I think it's just a change to a platform that hasn't had a change in years, and it's something to talk about. But I don't think it's that big a deal at all.
Because I don't think it changes. Like, even if your video gets disliked a lot, I think it still generates stuff in the algorithm to like
It
show it.
generates money. Like if you can get enough views to generate money, it goes off your views and not actual dislikes. So like from a revenue perspective, it means nothing to dislike it.
Yeah,
it's just to
actually
gauge
big,
interest.
Even if they are dislike bombing, that means it's still watch time. It's still like you're still you're contributing to them in some way.
You're doing more like good than harm. By,
That's why like
going
people got so mad about like Logan Paul after he filmed the dead body and came out with an apology video because he knew it would generate a giant reaction. And now it's like, okay, so you did something horrible and wrong, and now you're gonna benefit from it and get paid from the video. And he's like, well, I donated that money that I made off it. It's like, yeah, but you made money on it. You could have demonetized your own video and made nothing.
Yeah,
but you didn't.
true.
You could have donated $3. That I donated the money. Yeah. Well, how much did you actually make? Well, we don't know. It's like.
And how much did you actually donate? You're right. They have no way of knowing.
So,
To be honest, I just really hope, real quick, one day we eventually have a proper like competitor to YouTube, because it's kind of annoying how there's only one major video.
They control the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, there needs to be a competitor with them because they could just do whatever the fuck they want. But that's just me.
I agree 100%. I wish they did have a competitor, especially because whenever they went back and they started demonetizing all these gun videos, those people went to like Pornhub to like put their gun videos on there. I'm like, that's crazy.
Like website they can go to get money for their videos. They'll get tens of millions of views, but like YouTube's like, well, it's guns. We could do whatever we want, so they demonetize.
Yeah, I'm sure Google owns so many fucking servers that like it's gonna be impossible to compete now.
Yep.
But you're right. I'm just surprised that nobody came out. Like none of the big companies, even like Microsoft or Sony or something that comes out with that.
If Microsoft decided to get into the game, they would just gear their platform exactly off of what YouTube's doing, because YouTube got so much shit with everything else. That's why all the the adpocalypse and all that stuff happened.
Yeah.
Because YouTube's money was starting to get hurt because companies weren't turning to them to advertise anymore. But here's the thing. What's crazy to me is that they're almost like censoring what we see in things, but it's also there's a reason why we were all watching those things. We want to see it. Like, and now you're telling me you're not allowed to see it. Why? Just because an advertiser doesn't want it to be like, it's what I'm like. If Coke advertised a gun video, I'm not gonna be like, I'm never drinking Coca-Cola again. Like,
some people are like that. Some people are crazy.
Why the fuck is Coke and Pepsi still advertising? Dude, we know you're a pop and we know you exist.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why these giant companies need to find the need to advertise as much as they do. Like, your Coke's going nowhere. You're in so many restaurants and stores and fast food places. You could stop advertising completely. People are still going to drink Coke. It's just like McDonald's. Stop advertising.
Yeah.
We know you exist.
But it's like the argument for toilet paper. Like, who's not using this that they need to advertise?
Exactly.
Like, who needs to know that this is out there?
Like, Charmin has those commercials. It's like, cool, I'm going to buy the cheapest one. Because it's just like, it's toilet paper. I'm wiping my ass with this product.
Yeah.
Literally.
Or like when they advertise Mercedes, how many people can actually buy a Mercedes? Like it's
exactly.
not.
Yeah.
There's a small. That's a small market. I'm sure it's not. It's not massive. People aren't running. to
Well,
buy
I could see it
Mercedes
for
every day.
cars, but the other ones though, make sense.
I
Like
don't know. I don't
McDonald's.
know about cars.
McDonald's is in every country, everywhere. Like who doesn't
Even
know
in
about
like
McDonald's?
Egypt, dude, the McDonald's are in Egypt
Yeah.
too.
There's
and-
what?
Yeah.
Isn't there like 105 in Manhattan alone, and that's 11
Yeah.
miles?
Yeah. That's
There's
what I mean. Like
multiple in
something like that
Pittsburgh,
doesn't
too, like
need it.
dozens.
Oh yeah, you could go over to Century 3 in Pleasant Hills area. Before that, well, it's not there anymore. But at one point, there was a McDonald's behind the Walmart, in the Walmart, in front of the Walmart. There was 3 McDonald's within like
That's
miles of
insane.
each other.
Well, that's downtown. You got Smithfield McDonald's, 1 block over. You got Wood Street McDonald's, and about I don't know 2 blocks, 3 blocks from
Market
that,
Square
you
as
have
well.
the Market Square
Hey, but they
McDonald's
need
at
you to know the
Stanwix.
fucking McRib is back during every commercial break on the Steeler game. You know.
You have to know. They got to pay that money. You got to know
I
about
used
it.
to really like that, but that shit's so overrated. The McRib. I don't know.
All right, and moving on to the
McDonald's is
last,
good every once in a while now. Like
the
Yeah.
McRib.
once
Eh.
a month, I'm cool with having some McDonald's.
Yeah,
I like their nuggets and fries. Their burgers are all right. I don't like all their
They
specialty
use like
stuff.
15 different ingredients for that shit.
Yeah.
For fries.
All right, and then the last topic, we're talking blockchain mechanics again. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. EA, Ubisoft, they're talking about implementing it into games. Well, now Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, and Steve Aoki, a DJ, famous DJ, they launched a company called OddKey, which is an NFT platform. And the idea is they want to make this store, I guess, so people can sell, virtual comics, science fiction art, music. They want a space to be able to sell all these digital goods where it's safe for the artist and the buyer. And I don't know, like, are we at that point yet? Like, I know some of these NFT, pictures, JPEGs sold for multi-million dollars, but I don't know, is it that big yet where people are actually like, can I make my own art on Photoshop and After Effects and sell it for anything? Like,
Here's the thing about an NFT.
I don't know.
Physical art makes sense because there's one Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
These NFTs make no sense to me because it's like this picture just sold for 1 million and then I just screenshot it. I have
Yeah.
that picture now. I can do with that picture what I want. I can print it out and put it on my wall. I also have it. So just because you own the original file, you're telling me that it's supposed to be worth something? I don't understand. I feel like it's just a trend and it's a way for people to think they can make a massive amount of money and that's why it's popular right now. But I don't think that and I say that like Bitcoin isn't one of the biggest things ever now. But
Yeah.
I don't see how NFTs make fucking sense.
I
don't
kind of
get it.
agree.
I agree
You
with
just
you because of how
screenshot it.
easily you
That's
can
it.
copy
Oh,
it
it's
like that
mine.
without spending money. It's just
Yeah,
I
and
don't
that's the part where I get a little bit confused. It seems so like futuristic and cyberpunk to me. Like, I just don't think we're there yet. Although with Bitcoin, like you mentioned, it was the same thing when that first came around. People are like, "Yeah, that's dumb. That's not going to count for anything. It's fake money."
Like,
And now it's real money. So
Yeah, and
I don't
let's
know.
stop. See, a Bitcoin has a utility now, so it makes sense. Like people accept Bitcoin as currency and things like
and
that.
you have to like state it in your taxes too. Like, did you earn any Bitcoin and shit? I'm pretty sure. It asked me
that's
last year.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that got big. So I don't know if NFTs will. I mean, the people are certainly pushing for them, especially these guys that just made OddKey. They're trying to push for this to become a thing, and maybe it will in the future. I don't know, but like you said, I can just screenshot it. If I'm watching a video on Xbox or on my capture card, I can just record it and I can save your
Yeah.
video. So there's apps where you can record stuff right off of YouTube even. So I don't know if NFTs are quite there yet. I mean, unless it was like, oh, this picture can only be displayed in its clarity if you have that. Like if you don't have the NFT for it, then there's a bunch of, like watermarks on it. So you can't actually see it. I don't know. I just feel like it's not there. It's not going to work yet, even though they're trying. But we'll see. Obviously, Todd McFarlane thinks it's going to make it.
Hey,
And he had some strange
He
investments.
probably invested in Dogecoin too. That's like less than $1.
He might have. I don't know.
Talking about Doge.
But
Dogecoin, yeah.
I wasn't investing in Doge.
So was Fran. I think Fran did too.
I sold one hit like 40 cents, and everyone's like, "What's wrong with you? It's gonna hit $1."
If I could
And then
go back in time, I'd go back to 2010 and invest in Bitcoin when it was like less than 10,000.
Dude, honestly, if you would have invested in that Shiba Inu coin in January, that newest one, people were selling that off and trying to make it a
Or
thing. They're
Ethereum.
like, it's gonna go
Ethereum
up.
used to be like under 1,000. Now it's like $4,000 right now.
Dude, how about my buddy's friend sent Jesse a screenshot. He used to have 1 million Dogecoins back when it was like worth fucking absolutely nothing. He put like $10 and he got 1 million, right? And then he sold it because he's like, I don't need this, right? And he got rid of it to like I guess clean up his his portfolio and make it look better. Just dude, and then it went up like a year later.
He could have been a millionaire.
Oh, he could have been a
$1,
multi-millionaire.
right?
Like it was bad. Dude, I don't know what I'd do with myself at that point. It's like your whole life was set up there, and you
fucked.
He could have bought so many PlayStation 5s.
Or did you see that guy who forgot his Coinbase password because Coinbase has that like?
Oh
crazy password?
yeah, and he was paying the police to try and help him crack into it.
Yeah, he what was it? He had 2 password attempts left when the article came out, but like he had $250 million worth of Bitcoin.
That's
crazy.
And the thing is that it's gone forever for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. It's not gonna like go back into the market.
Number of Bitcoin that's left.
It's a finite
There's
amount.
still a lot, but still, there's a finite amount.
And then the pop question of the week: Forza Horizon 5 has been a big hit. So we want to know if you played it and what your favorite car is, or what if you haven't played it, then what's your favorite car anyway?
I'll go first because I have 2. When I played, I didn't get too far into 5 yet, but on Forza Horizon 4, I know I used the Jeep Wrangler a lot. I souped it up and put a bunch of shit into that, and that was a lot of fun to drive around because it was really fun off-roading it. And then the Lycan Hypersport, I spent a long time, like, long time. I shouldn't say long time. It was like 2 weeks worth of playing and saving up to buy one outright. It was like 2.8 million or something. I was like, that was pretty cool. I like that car a lot. So those are my 2.
I don't remember the name of the car I'm launching the game right now. So Chris, you tell me yours, and then I'll tell you mine after.
Well, I got 2. I got my favorite real world car, and then my favorite car that I have in the game. So my favorite real world car would be the Carrera GT, which is a Porsche, and it's actually the car that Paul Walker died in, and it's one of the few Porsches.
Jeez.
Well, it's one of the few Porsches that have more than a 6-cylinder engine in it, because most of them are all 6 cylinders. So I was always a big fan of that car even before he passed away. And then my favorite car in the game is the Jaguar. Oh, what's it called? It's the 2010 concept car. I forget the name of it. I'll have to put it up there when I find it. But I like this car.
Really in the game?
Is the what?
The DeLorean. Is it really?
Oh yeah, the DeLorean's in the game, and I've been on the marketplace. I buy and sell cars constantly on there. I got addicted to the auction house.
The game is sitting in the auction.
Yeah,
house.
but the DeLorean is so hard to get. You'll see them listed for like 70,000, and then by the time they sell, it's like $1 million. Like you can't even like jump into bid. Half the time I click bid, and it says bid filled. Like I can't even get in the bidding war. Like it's crazy.
So to answer the question, I've been using a lot of the Ford Escort, the car with the Monster Energy icons on it.
Nice.
It's like one of the starting cars, but that's probably my favorite car for Forza Horizon 5.
I also think it's funny that Forza starts you. Well, you start with 3 cars in Forza. You start with the Bronco, the new Corvette Stingray, and the Toyota Supra. And if you look on the marketplace, everyone's trying to sell these cars. Like they can't get rid of them. Like nobody's buying them. Like every time I go on there, I see that stupid Corvette. I'm like, nope, not getting tricked. But they're decent cars. I like the starting cars. I just think it's funny because I think if those cars weren't the starting cars that you get arbitrarily at the beginning, I think those cars would do very well in the marketplace. I think they'd be a big hit.
Oh, the Corvette especially, the new one.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
I actually put a Spider-Man paint on mine to get rid of it. Because I was like, I don't need this car anymore. I actually had 2 of them. Somehow I won. Like I had the Corvette and somehow I won another one. And they were like identical. And so I'm like, all right, I'll sell this one. So I got a Spider-Man paint job on it, put it up there for like $9,000 and somebody bought it.
Can you sell a paint job? Like I think you could do it from previous games.
You did in the
sell-
past. I don't think you sell the paint anymore. Like literally, I get my car and you can just go into find a design and they
Yeah.
give you all these designs and you just click on it. I haven't had to pay for any of them or anything.
Okay.
So I don't think you have to. I don't think you can buy and sell those anymore. But I will say, the marketplace in Forza is interesting because they actually tailor it. Like you can't price fix it. Like if you want to buy all the Koenigseggs, like they only go up to a certain price, and the more that sell, the price actually drops, which I thought was really interesting. Like they really watch the marketplace and adjust the prices. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Like they put a lot into the marketplace. I am kind of sad you can't just buy and sell designs though. That was kind of fun. All right, well that's gonna do it for Popcast episode 9. Would anybody else like to add anything?
No.
I think I'm good.
Matt, did you open that PS5 now? You got Guardians going?
Yeah. Well. Oh wait. Can I tell a quick story? I don't know. It's the.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, because I told you this, Chris, but Dan, you haven't heard it. So, she's never gonna listen, so I can say this. I originally was holding on to the PlayStation just to see if my dad's girlfriend can get one for her son. You know, because I'd feel bad. You know, a kid didn't have one on Christmas, and I me as a 28-year-old adult had one. Like an idiot. I'd feel bad. So
Some
anyways,
people
she
out
was
there
telling
wouldn't
me-
feel bad.
So she was telling me, you know, GameStop, you can go up there, you can wait in line and get one on Black Friday. And I'm like, the whole time in my head, I'm like, those restocks, those in-store restocks usually I have a couple of them. I was like, you might not want to waste your time. And I was kind of explaining it to her, like, you could try. I said, if there's no one in line, then go wait. If there are people in line, go check the, you know, see if there are, you're going to actually get one. And then she was telling me all this stuff, and the whole time I'm starting to feel more and more bad. I'm like, I'm just going to tell her I have mine. I'll sell her mine. And like, she's going on and on. And Jacob, her son, was sitting next to her, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't want no gay box." And the kid in me who grew up on the 360 and like literally met some of my best friends, on the Xbox, said, "Just for that, your mother's waiting in line on Thanksgiving, you little shit."
So did she wait in line?
Yeah, she got it. She waited in line. She got it.
Oh, she did get it? Oh, good for
Yeah, the
her.
second I found out she was first in line and there's 12 available, I opened.
You
my
ripped that
PlayStation.
open?
Yep.
I figured you opened it since you said you played Guardians, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for Popcast episode 9. We'll see you out there in the
Bye.
gaming
Peace.
space.